Stop for a second. Let's really think about this whole frame rate obsession. Because the way YouTubers and tech media polish it up with their B-rolls and charts and buzzwords, it's so presentable that you feel like you have to believe it. But when you peel back the layers, when you stop and really think, most of it doesn't even make sense. Take RAM upgrades as an analogy. Back in the day, going from 128 MB to 256 MB, it made a world of difference. Same thing from going from 256 to 512, but past a certain point, adding more RAM didn't actually speed up your computer. You hit the law of diminishing returns. Each upgrade, it gives you less and less until it's just marketing numbers. But the thing about it is that the ratio of the diminishing returns is actually kind of large. Like the upgrade, right? It's like, let's say back in the day, the watch time you got from a YouTube channel was 1,000 watch hours. Now you're getting like you used to your analytics used to bump up by 1,000 watch hours per week. Now it's bumping up by 3 hours per week. Okay, that's how diminishing returns is for those who don't still understand. And it still ties back to frame rates, because people throw around 120 fps, 144 fps, 240 fps like it's magic. But here's the reality: your reaction time as a human is around 150 to 200 milliseconds on average. That means that you're not reacting to every single frame. You're basically reacting once every 5 frames on average. So the higher the frame, the more frames. That 5 frames actually kind of increases because of higher speeds, obviously. But whether your game is running at 60, 120, heck even 240, you don't suddenly gain superhuman reflexes. And this is where this is the main thing, because people will confuse reaction opportunities with reaction ability. Just because a screen shows you 144 frames doesn't mean that your brain is processing 144 opportunities to react. Your biology is the bottleneck. And if you still don't understand, let me put it another way. Think about cups. A cup can only hold so much water. Once it's full, pouring more in it is pointless. That's just the way it is with frames. Because once you've hit the full cup for human perception and reaction time, anything extra is just overflow. Numbers for the sake of numbers. Cars are another good example. We hit a plateau in consumer car speeds a long time ago. The average Joe doesn't need to go 300 miles per hour. So instead of chasing raw speeds, car companies they began to focus on comfort, safety, design, and differentiation. Though they usually focus on one of the following. They don't usually do everything at the same time. That's exactly where the games industry should have gone. Like that's the route they should have gone after we hit 60 fps, a stable 60 fps in terms of hardware. Focusing on software optimization and fixing actual problems, not just inflating the speedometer. And let's not forget the glorious internet speeds, because of this is technically the same thing, though people will try to still bamboozle you with this one too. Like, let's say your local provider caps out at 50 MB per second, like because of the infrastructure in your area, the network infrastructure in your area. So it doesn't matter whether your router claims it can handle a gigabit, you are limited by a bottleneck. That's just the same thing with storage too. YouTube doesn't stream your videos in uncompressed 8K just because you uploaded it that way. Quality is capped by the platform and the viewer's device. Bigger numbers don't always equal better experiences. And mugs also. Mugs, they have been around forever. People keep on buying mugs. Companies don't just start pointing out, okay, this thing, like our mugs now have LEDs. They just stay consistent, making them reliable, and people still buy them. Yet in gaming hardware, especially on PC, companies love to point at some new shiny metric: higher FPS, lower response time, higher better colors, this and that. Yes, but after the FPS cap was reached, after 60 hertz, after you reach the 16 millisecond range, right? There isn't much difference. I mean, like reaching, if you are able to get 100+ frames on a game, technically speaking, you're still in the 100 to 120 FPS range. And I'm using a higher refresh rates, I know, but when you're in the 40 to 60 or the 45 to 60 or the 100 plus to 120, you've already reached the pinnacle. There isn't much. Same in millisecond, like the whole millisecond thing that people, especially esports players, keep on talking about, because there isn't much difference after that. Okay, because what the industry still should have doubled on, I'll say this again and again, it should have been software refinement. Better drivers, smoother engines, reduced input lag, because hardware can peak, but software is what makes or breaks the experience. Take for instance, Nvidia or whatever company that makes graphics cards and even chipsets. If the driver is ridiculously bad, then the performance can just be thrown out the window. Like now, you suddenly the device is acting like your Ryzen 7 is acting like a Ryzen 5. I don't know how. Maybe the driver, maybe it was a bug or something. And then when you look at games themselves, the truth will still come out, because Dark Souls, I know, right? Like Dark Souls, notoriously difficult, but the engine is tightly optimized so that it's not that you're getting bamboozled to a particular degree. Like, you're already getting bamboozled with the difficulty on a normal day. So if the input is inconsistent, in the engine is, those who know will know. Because the engine is another thing. Engine, hardware and software is different because of the Sonic, is that what it's called there? The Sonic, the Hedgehog engine 1 and 2. It's distinctly different from Unreal Engine 4 and 5. Even the difference between Unreal Engine 4 and 5, it's not night and day, but it's distinct. It's like comparing an apple to an orange. Okay, because FPS numbers doesn't matter. Like it can't matter until the engine is delivering those frames and until the engine is handling your inputs well. And the thing is, from the PS3 era till now, gamers didn't need more frames. It was consistent frames, stable frame delivery, tiny 1% low margins. Some of the things I'm saying right now, please look for, go do research if you just feel confused, because I don't want to spend 20 minutes trying to waste your time. Engines that respect your inputs still goes back to engines, because without all that, all the marketing about higher frames, this and that, it's just noise. And this is a part where I'm basically done with the whole script and everything. This is where I need to talk about the whole esports thing, because the human response time, going back on that, you're seeing frames. You can see higher frames. It looks smooth, but after 60 FPS, the smoothness is just smooth for the sake of being smooth. Okay, because your response time is really 5. 200 ms is 0.2 seconds. So basically 5 frames is 0.2 seconds. 5 frame, every 5 frames you can press a button. That's your speed on average. So the input lag that people were complaining about in the PS3 and Xbox 360 era, with some games being capped at 30 because of the engine wasn't powerful enough, because that's what people don't understand. The engine wasn't powerful enough to maintain 30. Games like GTA 5, sometimes it will alternate between 27 to 30 sometimes on the PS3 and Xbox 360. Maybe if you play this for extended periods of time, maybe when the heating kicks in. But these days we have better hardware, so what everybody should have focused on is more on the software side of things. I said it again, but this whole ray tracing thing, if ray tracing was set to be standard at 60 to 30 FPS, it could have been fine with decent frame times and decent 1% lows. And 1% lows, right? If the 1% low of a game is from 60 FPS to 59 FPS, that 1% low isn't even a low anymore. It's basically the same thing by a margin of 1. Okay, So all these things, all these different things that have been thrown around, it's just for the companies that keep on making all this hardware so that they can justify the reasons for the price hike, for this and for that, for the different tiers of products that you can buy from them. When TVs, I mean, like, honestly speaking, TVs have been the same thing again and again and again. 60 hertz, 60 hertz is just it. That is all. Because at the end of the day, the law of diminishing returns is undefeated. It doesn't shake hands with the diminishing returns. I mean, it's a fact. But because bigger isn't always better, numbers aren't always progress. Okay, what really matters is consistency, optimization, and actual experience. Everything else is just overflow water spilling out of an already full cup.